Hello, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to take a few minutes and do an energy report for you today, and also send out blessings for a beautiful Easter resurrection weekend. This is a very big gateway weekend. It's so exciting. I've been getting the resurrection message for probably about a week now. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Normally, I don't use any notes to do my talking points, but I had a major activation this week with the solar flash, which I will share with you in this energy update. And the energy is just rushing through me so fast. I want to make sure that I stay on point with everything that I want to bring through for this energy update. So first, let's start with the energy. Energy right now, super intense as we're bringing through the crystalline plasma energies. And you know that crystalline brings us into the Christed timeline, the Christed consciousness. And the plasma energy is what comes through and amplifies the body, clearing the distortions that the photonic light bring to the surface. And that plasma energy can be somewhat challenging to navigate because if you think about water and the thickness of water as you're swimming in it, plasma is just above water and there is a viscosity to it. I remember many years ago, probably around 2006, when I was still doing Reiki sessions and had spontaneous healings with clients, I would pull what I knew then was a plasma energy out of their body, and it would literally feel like a a blob of jello coming into my hand, and then I could just send it off and transmute it with my higher realm team. But it was a matter of just removing that energy that came up, and it was plasma nature. Some of you that are doing healing work might be feeling that within yourself as energy is dislodging, coming into your hands. That's plasma energy, in case you were wondering what that was, if you've had any of those instances where you had spontaneous healing and were able to receive the plasma energy that the individual that you're working on has released through their divine intention and free will. Because remember, it's never us doing the healing. It's a team effort between the higher realms and what is flowing through us as we are working very hard to maintain divine neutrality and moving aside the personality and the ego so that we can be the best facilitator for the energies as possible. So that plasma energy is very high frequency energy coming through, makes, as you've heard in many other videos that I've made, our stomach gurgle, can bring some digestive issues. And there are times where it could be quite uncomfortable to try to sleep at night as it's working through the body. So we've been receiving a lot of that. We've also been in a lot of solar activity, which is solar flares, solar winds, and geomagnetic everything. And solar brings in that photonic light. It also creates migraine type headaches and amplifies the light frequencies in the body, which means that, of course, the sides of the neck are going to hurt, the back of the neck is going to hurt. I have all of that listed in other videos, plus I'll put some information below on these energies so that you can read the blog that I wrote a couple of years back on all of this. But we're in these heavy energies and they're not going to be going away. This is the expectation for this year. As they shift and become higher light frequency, the more clearing takes place on the planetary level within the collective, the more light we will be integrating. And I will say that as a whole, these energies will become easier to integrate. Okay. So the energies for April that I'm seeing, and also going into May, are going to be a little bit tricky to navigate, okay? Which means that we're really going to have to stand in our truth and know what is true for us and not pay attention to what is happening out there. Because the reality that we're all going to see on the outside is not our reality. If you're awake and you're in tune with my channel, then you're not going to be watching what is playing out there in the government with the whole virus narrative, right? So we're going to just continue to go inward and trust that whatever is taking place is not really meant for us, because what it is doing is it is poking at those that are still behind the veil, so to speak, okay, that are not awake, that are still in the illusion of the third dimensional reality that they are playing in. So for those of us that are in that state of awakened beingness, we want to just focus on what we need to do to continue to anchor in the highest light possible, because in our doing our work for ourselves, we are assisting and supporting the collective consciousness in their up-leveling, in their awakening, in their shift into higher timelines, right? And how fast that goes is really driven by all of us that are awake and in alignment and holding down the light and feeding the light into the collective, which means that we don't judge anybody for where they are, even if they are judging us. And that is a great tool to be able to use when somebody is judging you, because it can help you see that maybe you're still holding a little bit of judgment, maybe of yourself, about how things are, about where you're desiring to be, and then use that opportunity with that person judging you to further clear judgment and come into love from a deeper perspective, so that you can then just hold love for them and understand that they are not awake or aware of what is transpiring. So we have to have compassion and complete love for them. Okay, that's really, really the key here, is for us to just stay the course and keep doing our work, even if we are triggered. The trigger is about us being able to go deeper and pushing ourselves deeper into our work so that we can be a better version of us. The more we do that, the faster things can shift, okay? Because the timelines are locked into the collective experience. While we may be having an amazing individual experience, we're still tied into collectives, and it's not just one collective, it's many different types of collectives that we are tied into, okay? So please stay in the work, make sure you're doing whatever it is that's necessary for you, and don't get pulled into the blame, the shame, all of that. Someone wanting to challenge you for either getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine. Don't argue, because in arguing, we're only fostering that negative energy, and we're trying to really move beyond that now, okay? And as I said, this weekend, we are in the resurrection energies, which is very, very powerful. And at first, when I first got that from my team, I wasn't really sure what they were saying. I was like, is somebody going to appear? Like, is Jesus going to appear again? And they were really very clear with me and said, it is the Jesus within you that's going to be the one that you want to bring to the surface to have rise at this time. And so when I had that understanding, and even now saying it, it's like my heart center is buzzing with that understanding, because that is where our power is, right? And everything is focused from our heart center. So it means that we are holding ourselves in the truth of the light of source. So we have to start seeing ourselves as that divine creator, and we are the ones that we are waiting for in this timeline, in this time period, right? Because there is nothing outside of us that can do more for us than we can do for ourselves, by holding the awareness that we are everything and everything is within us, okay? So that's something that's very, very important. And take this weekend to really honor yourself and, do things that are nurturing and supportive to you, and stand in your truth. It's so important right now. I've been talking about this in my classes the last couple of weeks, that we stand in our truth, be sovereign in who we are, and, not feed into what's taking place, but rather come from a place of great integrity, okay, and honesty, so that we are speaking our truth, acting our truth, standing in our truth in every single moment, okay? Because that is where our power lies. You can't be somebody else, okay? So if you are copying somebody else or doing something somebody else is doing because you think it's great or this or that, you may not be standing in the truth of what is important for you to be doing. So we all have to be in that awareness so that we're doing what is meant for us and we are on our soul's timeline. And I know you guys have heard me talk about that before. That is something that is super, super important. Okay. This is all about the divine self and coming back into our divine oneness with everything. And that is where unity consciousness is, right? So that's super, super important. We have new codes coming in that are balancing us, that are bringing in balance and harmony into our reality if we're choosing to receive those codes and, not fight where we are in our moment, where we stand right now. And so I can tell you a really quick story on that. So a lot of you know that I have been really wanting to move, and my heart's desire is to move out of state and, maybe have some property. And I'd like to have a place where I have a separate room for my art studio that's very illuminated, lots of windows because I like lots of light. And right now, all of my art supplies are crammed into my bedroom because I share a house with my friend. And, I can't really put my stuff in the middle of the house. That wouldn't be right because I'm already doing that by doing the work that I do. I'm like right in our living space, seeing clients from here. So I didn't want to do that and take up more of the room. It's not fair for her. So all of my art supplies are in my bedroom, and I was joking around saying I'm going to have to soon find another place to sleep because my bedroom is fast turning into my art studio. So with having that awareness, the more I thought about moving and really wanting to be someplace else, I also noticed that my right hip was starting to really hurt. And I'm like, why is my right hip hurting? There's no reason for that to be happening. And so when I tuned into the energy in my body, my right hip basically told me, well, hips are about support, and the right side is about moving forward in life and doing. And so is it possible you're not feeling supported moving forward in your desire to leave the situation? And I thought to myself, yeah, because that window of opportunity has not yet opened up, and I really want to go someplace else. And so I could spread my wings and just fly a little more than I am now. And then I was reminded by my higher realm, higher self, whatever you want to call it, that window of opportunity to move was not going to happen until I got so happy, so comfortable, so completely content in where I am now that I am not thinking about going anywhere else, moving anywhere else. And I need to be completely content and happy with where I am in this now moment. Even if it might not seem right to me, feel right to me, look right to me, or be the place I desire to be, has nothing to do with my friend, the house, or anything like that. It's just, I feel this intense desire to just, be in a space where I could just spread out. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for a place of my own and just to spread my wings and fly. Well, the minute I shifted my thoughts and the minute I recognized that I was perfectly content being exactly where I am, I'm very supported here. I feel a tremendous amount of love, safety, and comfort. The minute I started to root into that energy and let go of the need to be anywhere else, or for it to look any other way, or for me to desire any other, situation to come into my life, the pain in my right hip went away. Okay. So what I'm trying to show you guys is that we're manifesting all of it. I know I've said this in so many other videos, especially over the last 2 years, but I really want you to understand how fast it happens. Okay. And I am my own client case at times where I manifest things like cancer and a Bartholin cyst and hip pain and a lot of other things to understand how to clear them in the body. Okay. So hopefully that helps you. And one of the things that they also reminded me was that we are activating freedom codes still, because that started in July of 2019. And those freedom codes are what is bringing us through this passageway, through this gateway. And eventually, because we will not be under the guise of this whole COVID thing with the quarantine and all, and eventually out of that, and that will all shift, and that narrative will fall away, right? But in the meantime, we have to be okay because we are in Aries season. And it is a fiery season, okay? And so expect some twists and turns to this movie plot that we're watching, and just sit back, take it in, grab your popcorn, have a good chuckle, and know that soon it will come to an end, right? Now, when I say that, I don't mean like tomorrow, next week, next month. This is going to take a collective effort for those that are carrying the light, holding the light, to just continue to do that so more can wake up and come out of the illusion of the veil of the third dimension that they're playing in. So it's very important for us to continue to do our work, okay? So let me share with you what happened to me last week. I had an activation that was so powerful. Over the last couple of years, I've heard people talking about the solar flash and when that's going to happen and how it's going to be a collective experience on the earth plane. Well, my higher realm team, my higher self, told me that that was not how it was going to be experienced. It was going to be experienced on an individual level. And so I always trusted that. And I can tell you that I've been seeing the sun flashing. It's doing its undulation and its belly dance probably since, I want to say the middle of 2018 was the first time I had an awareness that the sun was doing this flashing, this dancing movement, okay? And so you could see it more clearly in the morning as the sun is rising, and then in the afternoon as the sun is setting. Although I have to be honest with you and tell you that the sun has been more like a spotlight these days, and you can literally see it like it's like ooh, you know, as you're just looking at it in the sky, no matter what time it is, it's like got this real, as if it's beaming towards us, right? So that is like that's the flashing part of it, okay? And so what happened with this solar flash that I experienced was really early in the morning. It was last week. And what happened was, as I was in dream state, I was lucid dreaming. And the next thing I knew, it was like the sun filled my head. There was nothing but the sun in colors of gold and orange and yellow that were unbelievably magnificent. As you know, my pineal gland was wide open and experiencing this. And as I was experiencing it, the sun was doing this flashing, this belly dancing, this undulating that was incredible. And all of a sudden, at this moment, as I was bearing witness to this in that lucid dream that I was having, that lucid experience, the sun did something that was like an old photographer's flash, you know, where they have the old bulb in the flash where they hold the camera and then they hit the flash and it goes like that. And it flashes so bright, it was blinding, right? Well, that's the kind of poof sound that it made. And then in that moment, as I felt that flash, it went right into my heart center. My heart center just blew open. It's all occurring at the same time as my heart center blows open, as the flash happens. And then in that same moment, the sun explodes in my head. This was so intensified that it like literally went up and down my spine, like the Kundalini activating, shot through my third eye, shot through my crown. I felt this incredible expansion, right? And what I didn't know then, because I was still processing it, and I even made a post on my Instagram account about it, asking if anybody else had had that experience. I was still processing it. So I didn't have an awareness that what it did was it synced up the heart with the pineal gland and the crown chakra, and it just blew that gateway wide open. And then the next thing I found was that in the days ahead, I was having these experiences where I was painting, with watercolor pencils, I was painting a fairy and I was doing her face. And in that moment of doing her face, I saw where the placement of her eyes should be, where the placement of her nose should be. And I just followed the outline of what I was seeing in my head, and the fairy face came out really, really good. And I'd never had that experience before. And I just have now this higher level of knowing, this higher level of awareness that is still, new to me. So I'm just staying playful with it and my experience of it. Even as I'm talking about it now, I can feel my body is buzzing and expanding and contracting and like going in waves. And it's pretty incredible. And what I had realized from that was that I don't hold fear of what is to come or what's to happen. So the fear has dissipated any of the little residual fear that I had. And what I recognized was in that moment of that flash, it was as if my old me had died, because when I was going through it, I literally did think that maybe I had a heart attack at that moment and was dying or dead or transitioning to the other side, because I didn't have a sense of me in a way. It was all energy. And so what my team has told me is that this is what is a template rewrite, right? It's a whole body rewrite where all the codes, the DNA goes into a rewrite, and it's like the old physical self dies off, and the new light body activation, the new light body is what is becoming more front and center. So I wanted to share that with you because I do believe that we're all going to be experiencing this in the coming months as we see this all being amplified. So we really have to, be aware of what is going to be transpiring in these coming months. And it's really important for us to take these energies that are coming through and really use them at this time to amplify our own field. Now, you guys have heard me talk about not grounding in the old way, connecting deep into Mother Earth. We can't do that because she's shifting and her magnetic field is shifting in every single moment, okay? We can hear it in those time stops where it feels like everything in your body has come to a complete stop. And then when you tune into the Earth's energy, it's like the Earth's energy has just completely stopped, okay? That you're not feeling Gaia, okay? And it's very unnerving at first. I remember I started feeling it back in April 2020, just after we went into quarantine. And it was very unnerving. And it was very clear to me at that time that we need to ground in other ways. So grounding would be more like a, light body grounding into the energies of what is presenting into our creator consciousness, into our source consciousness, which would mean that we need to do more creative activities to get us into those creator states, right? That's what that's all about, accessing our creator states through our point of creation. So what that would look like is, anything music, whether you're playing an instrument, writing music, or just dancing, art, any kind of expression, writing, painting, drawing, singing, all of that sort of stuff, going out in nature, going for hikes, hugging a tree, if you're rock climber, mountain climber, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? But just being creative in the expression of being you is very, very important as we're moving through these energies, because this is what's going to support us. And this is how we're going to ground in, because we don't want to go down anymore, because all of the chakras are merged. Okay. And so we have to start thinking about our chakras as being merged now. All right. So we want to be up. And that's why we're feeling the floatiness and the lightheadedness. And sometimes we're feeling dizzy because or vertigo, because we are needing to be higher. So it means that we're in some kind of resistance if we're feeling those things, because we're not flowing with the energies and flowing with what is presenting. Okay. So if you're feeling that way, you want to definitely let go and not be in resistance to what is, and just let yourself have the experience. I know I've heard from some of you asking me about the new tones that you're hearing. It sounds like symphonies in your ear. Some of you are hearing what you would say is Morse codes. we're beeping and buzzing, and it sounds like it's supposed to mean something. It doesn't. It's another frequency, right? As Gaia's magnetics are shifting, our magnetics in our body is shifting, our ears are picking up those frequencies. For me, it's always symphonic kind of, harmonics that are at play. And 2 years ago, I started hearing light ships. So I hear the energies of the ships and the beings and everything else. And almost every night, I hear them dialoguing with me and connecting in those ways. So I'm tuning into all of that. You're most likely doing it too, and just not having an awareness of it. So that's really important to have, the recognition of what is taking place for you, because this is the new everything, and this is how we are going to experience ourselves moving forward. It's in ways that we've never experienced ourselves before. So for some, it might make you uncomfortable, and for others, you might think this is the most incredible fun you've had ever in your life. Okay. I know I'm loving these energies, because every time I do one of my classes on Wednesday night, I am experiencing a room full of beings, and it's really a lot of fun to watch the participants on the Zoom chat with me, pointing out when there are these orbs and these beings. And I mentioned in another video, I think, that there was a dragon, and it was this long. It was like literally going around the wall of my room, because I was talking about my fairy class that's coming up, and the dragons, the elementals, they all want to participate in that. And as they're, as I was recognizing that they are the creators of new earth realms, and they are the ones that are responsible for much of these storms that we're having, as everything is being unearthed now, so that we can bring in those new earth realms and be experiencing these higher timelines. So, it's most important now for everybody to just really enjoy what is taking place. Stop looking at what's going on out there. Okay. Those of us that are awake, it's not for us. This is really to help those who are still under the illusion of the matrix of the third dimension, see what is really taking place, and then make a decision not to give up their sovereignty, because that's in essence what is happening. So I hope that this energy update has helped you. I tried to bring through as much as I could squeeze in. I'm want to apologize for not being on sooner, but I have just been super, super busy trying to honor all that is presenting in my reality, all that is needing to come through, all that is needing my attention. So I am sorry that I have not been here more. When I can, I do. So with that, I want to wish you an amazing gateway weekend to this resurrection energy, in this Christed timeline, because we understand what Easter is really representing. So don't get caught up in the I don't know what the word would be, if it would be dogmatic event, right? Like the Bible explanation, or the stories that we heard, right? Don't get caught up in the stories of Easter. We're in the Christed timeline. Okay. If you're seeing 333, that 333 code is Christ consciousness. It's the Christed timeline. It's the Trinity. Okay. And that's what's bringing us through this gateway period. We're going to notice more amplification of the unity codes, the freedom codes, the balance codes coming in to harmonize everything. But it's really important for us to stay in our grace and to just be present for whatever is showing up with love and compassion, because that's really what is needed at this time. Let everything else go. It's just a story. Okay. It is not going to happen. There's been so much that came to the surface that never took place, that never took hold. Please, please don't look at this, whatever is playing out, with any fear, and hold any fear. Hold the higher timeline. Trust that all will be resolved in its good time. We are the ones that are anchoring the new consciousness, and all of us are needed right now, front and center, present with love and compassion for everything and everyone that is showing up in our reality. Okay. So for those of you that are new subscribers, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your support. To those of you that have been supporting me all the way through, I am so grateful to you that you have carried me this far. Thank you. Evelyn M., if you're watching, I just want to say thank you. There wasn't a way I could thank you. There was no email attached. So I just want to give you a little shout out and say thank you very much. So I look forward to seeing all of you real soon in whatever way that's going to manifest. And I send you oodles and oodles of love and blessings for a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Gateway, resurrection, unity, mass consciousness, up leveling. I love you guys. Take care. See you soon.